What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cam show. The NFL playoffs has been amazing so far. We are at the Super Bowl. Shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, the best teams made it so far. We can say that, and it's been bad last weekend for me. I picked the San Francisco 49ers and the Bengals, both dogs in the game. I picked them to win. I really thought they would, And we look at the San Francisco 49ers, and I look back and say, hey, Brock Purdy did get hurt. They were down to their third string. Then they went with their fourth string quarterback. And it's bad. It's terrible for San Francisco right now, the situation they were in. But let me tell you right now, the San Francisco 49ers will be back. They still got McCaffrey, Debo, Kittle. I think 49ers are a very dangerous team. They just got to stay healthy. And I do think we're going to see Brock Purdy. I mean, he got hurt the elbow, and we'll get more into that. But I want to start off with the Kansas City Cincinnati Bengals game. That game was insane to me. The AFC Championship, we know that Kansas City won by 3 in a very close one. And this game went back and forth. And I really blame the Cincinnati Bengals. I blame the head coach and whoever's playing calling the plays offensively was definitely out of sync, definitely in the fourth quarter. And we saw it was tied up 20-20, and it was like 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 for the Cincinnati Bengals, and they're driving down, right? This is deep into the fourth quarter, and yet they elect to throw it like 20 to 30 yards. It's like, bro, you could throw a little 5-6 yard dump off, dude. Like, this doesn't make sense. And that was one of the worst calls I've seen so far. It's just like, why? And they did it before. They went for it on 4th and 6, the Cincinnati Bengals, and they capitalized. Shout out to Jamar Chase with the huge catch over 2 defenders. And then we fast forward, and shout out to Brian Cook, the safety, the second round pick out of Cincinnati for Kansas City Chiefs. He came up big with that swat, and then that led to an interception. That really was a game changer right there. Without Brian Cook defending that, I think, they score a touchdown. I think it was to Boyd or maybe to T. Higgins. But anyway, if Brian Cook doesn't deflect that ball, that's a touchdown, and we're looking at a completely different scenario here. So shout out to Brian Cook, a huge defensive play. I think that was the best defensive play on Kansas City all game, dude. And that was in the fourth quarter. And he's a Cincinnati Bearcat. Shout out to Brian Cook one time, but the Kansas City Chiefs, they find ways to win. And we got to give homage to Patrick Mahomes. Yes, he's not 100% with that ankle injury, but, Mahomes balled out. 326 yards passing and 2 touchdowns on a bummed ankle. Just imagine if Mahomes was 100%. What good for Mahomes is, yes, you guys get another week off till the Super Bowl, so Mahomes in Kansas City's got to be ready and loaded up, and I can't wait for that. We saw Travis Kelce score a touchdown. Isaiah Poncho, man, this dude he's a beast, man. Out of Maryland, I didn't really hear much about him. Tyreek Hill left. He took number 10. Isaiah, man, this dude is nice. He's nice, and really, he had a couple big runs in the fourth quarter. Patrick Mahomes threw a dump off to Isaiah. He broke a couple tackles and ran for a first down. It's just those little plays, and we see these type of things, right? And we can blame the Bengals for a lot of dumbhead plays, like the late hit on Patrick Mahomes with like 10 seconds left. That was a pretty dumb play, definitely by the Cincinnati Bengals. But I'm not going to blow it all on one play. It was numerous of plays. It's a bad play call, like I said, on 3rd and 5 to throw it 20 to 30 yards. It's just like, dude, this is the playoffs here. This is the game to get in the Super Bowl. And the Cincinnati Bengals would go back to back here to Super Bowl appearances, and they were that close. Do I feel bad for Joe Burrow? No, because Joe Burrow didn't play his best game. 1 touchdown, 2 picks. That wasn't Joe Burrow-esque like. If Joe Burrow played a great game, it'd be 3 touchdowns, 0 picks, and Cincinnati Bengals probably would have won this game 31-23. If they would have played great. But I just think, it started to add up. In Kansas City Chiefs, their defense, this game, they played the best game all season. And this counted the most, right? We look at the AFC Championship game and say, hey, we need our best players to step up. And they did. And we saw the defensive line for Kansas City step up numerous times. It was great. It was definitely great. Shout out to Coach Andy Reid, man. Hey, he's coaching against a former team that he coached, the Philadelphia Eagles. And I believe he's the only head coach to win 10-plus games on 2 different franchises. So shout out to Andy Reid, Coach Andy Reid, amazing. But I think Kansas City, they do have a lot of the momentum. And it's going to be interesting to see how Patrick Mahomes goes. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals, they shouldn't hang their hat. They shouldn't be down. They will be back. Absolutely. And I think the Cincinnati Bengals can add a couple more pieces. definitely on defense as well. I think they can beefing up the defense. I think they can add better safeties, better linebacking core, everything for Cincinnati Bengals. I really do. So I think the Bengals will be back this time next year, and it could easily be a rematch between these two games. You know, the Chiefs and the Bengals. It'd be awesome to see that, right? It really would. But, you know, in the Super Bowl, anything's possible now. And we look at Kansas City, and I look at their season all year, right? I believe they've only lost 3 games all year. And one of the games they did lose to was my Indianapolis Colts. They came into Indy, and they lost to Indy. And what did Indy do well against Patrick Mahomes? They kind of confused them in certain situations, mixed up blitz coverages, stuff like that. And that's what Philadelphia is really good at. Different types of blitzes, just keep you off balance a lot. So this heavyweight matchup in the Super Bowl, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs, is going to be iconic. It really is. Now, who's the better team overall? I would definitely say the Philadelphia Eagles right now. Pound for pound, they're just a better overall team. Now, does the better overall team always win? No. We go back, I believe it was Super Bowl 42 when the New York Giants beat the New England Patriots when Eli Manning had that crazy throw on 3rd and down. He looked like he was going to get sacked. He threw it up. It was just, it's amazing, right? You know, but the underdog sometimes does win in the Super Bowl. So I can't wait to see this happen. I really can't. But the NFC Championship game wasn't as good as the AFC. Like I said, Philadelphia Eagles ran through the 49ers 31-7. Brock Purdy got hurt first quarter. And really, ever since that happened, it was kind of a downfall for San Francisco. They started to make mistakes. Their 4th-string quarterback came in, fumbled the ball. It really was all Philly from there. Yeah, McCaffrey had a great run. He scored a touchdown, but really that was it. It was basically all McCaffrey. Debo only had 33 yards. It wasn't enough for San Francisco. And I think if Brock Purdy would have stayed healthy, I think this game could have easily been different. I think it could have been like 24-27, maybe even Philly. I'll give you that. But I really believed in San Francisco 49ers. I believed in their defense, but they didn't come up big. They didn't. And really, Jalen Hurts, he did what he had to do. 121 yards. I just think Jalen Hurts is a smart quarterback. They have a smart system in Philadelphia for Jalen Hurts, and it fits them great. So I think Philadelphia Eagles are a very dangerous team, and they are a team that's probably going to, I would say, lean more towards Philadelphia right now. They had the better defense. They had the better pass rush, I think. You know, but what we saw from Kansas City, like I said, was their best defensive performance all year. All year, and what a time to come in the AFC Championship game, right, if you're Kansas City. But Philly, they got A.J. Brown. Devontae Smith had 2 receptions, 36 yards. But really, Philly's defense stepped up when they needed to and shut down this high-powered offense. But it didn't help that Brock Purdy got hurt early, right? It wasn't enough. But this Super Bowl matchup's going to be great. It really is. We got Jalen Hurts, a young quarterback. Same thing with Patrick Mahomes, young quarterback as well. I mean, it's going to be awesome. I really do. Now, who am I rooting for? Obviously, I'm rooting more towards the AFC and Kansas City Chiefs because I love Patrick Mahomes. I think he's a baller. He's a gamer. He's a game changer. And if I could compare it, I hate comparing, but Patrick Mahomes is the Steph Curry of the NFL. I say that because, you know, Patrick Mahomes and Steph, they have that, like, you know, it's just, they have the sauce, right? They just have that, it looks like they're not really trying, dude. It's kind of irritating, right, to someone who has to work hard all the time. And it looks like Steph and Patrick just kind of go through the motions, somehow gets the open pass, just stuff like that. Throw up the open 3 and hit it. Even double teamed, still hits the 3. Curry does. Patrick Mahomes somehow escapes out of 2 or 3 defenders, throws the ball down the field for 30-plus yards. Just extend the play. And that's what's great about Patrick Mahomes is that's the X factor here. In this Super Bowl, can the Philadelphia Eagles stop Patrick Mahomes? That's going to be interesting. You know, it really is, but these matchups are great. Like I said, I'm leaning more towards Philadelphia, but right now, Kansas City, dude, I think I would love to see it. You know, this is their 3rd Super Bowl appearance in 4 seasons, and we do know they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady back in 2021. You know, we remember that, right? But I'm looking at it right now and saying, look, Patrick Mahomes, dude, this guy, there's a reason that they paid him over $500 million, over $500 million. There's a reason for that. Why? Because he's a gamer. He extends the plays. He makes something out of nothing, dude. And that's what it is. I mean, who heard of Patrick Mahomes? Because I didn't when he came out of college at Texas Tech. I didn't know who Patrick Mahomes was. You know, at the NFL Combine, I'm like, who is Patrick Mahomes? I saw him scrambling and throwing some bombs. I'm like, dude, this guy, he can play. He can play. Even watching him at the combine, you kind of engage in certain people, and you're like, this guy's going to be a gamer someday. And Patrick Mahomes was one of those guys. He slipped late, and we saw the Kansas City Chiefs take a risk on him, and boom, they capitalized heavy on him, dude. They really did, dude. So this is going to be awesome. I think the Super Bowl is great. We got Rihanna performing at halftime. Hopefully Rihanna doesn't have a black eye. Please, Rihanna, I hope not. But looking at this, it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. I hope the views are up from last year. We know that last year, it was the Bengals and Rams, which was a pretty good Super Bowl. I'm not going to lie. It was really close. But overall, I'm leaning more towards the Kansas City Chiefs, man. I really am, dude. I think it's their time. And shout out to Andy Reid, Coach Andy Reid. What a career he's had. He really has. He's a champion, dude. Like I said, used to coach for the Philadelphia Eagles, man. This is great, man. I'm telling you, I think what's going to happen here is that I think Andy Reid's going to win. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion, okay? One as an assistant coach and one as a head coach, okay? So I can't wait for this. I really can't. So I think this is going to be like a heavyweight fight, boxing match. Back when Tyson used to fight Muhammad Ali. This is the anticipation right now. I think this is going to be great. It's in Arizona, and I believe the last time it was in Arizona, the Super Bowl, as I recall, was back when Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots played, and we remember that Super Bowl, right? When Pete Carroll tried to get cute with Russell Wilson and throw the ball on the 1-yard line, yet got picked and lost the Super Bowl in that one play. Yet you got beast mode. All you got to do is run 1 yard. They decided to throw it. And ever since then, I was like, oh, my God, that's the worst call in Super Bowl history. And I believe that was the last time, Arizona hosted the Super Bowl. Was that Super Bowl, Seattle and the Patriots. And, my gosh, that was one of the best Super Bowls I've ever seen besides the New York Giants and New England Patriots with Eli Manning with that crazy throw. That's the best Super Bowl I've ever seen live, dude. That was just insane. The Giants weren't supposed to win. New England Patriots were undefeated that season, so it's everything, right? It's for everything. And the Giants came up big. And shout out to Eli Manning, Hall of Famer, 2-time Super Bowl champion. But looking at this Super Bowl, I could see it being like that. I could see it being coming down to the wire, game-winning field goal. Who's gonna hit it? Who's gonna make the big play? Who's going to make the straight fumble? Who's going to make the pick when they needed to? Who's going to have that momentum shift? Who's going to do that? So that's what's going to come down to. So I cannot wait. But, looking at the whole season this year, 2022 and 2023, what a season for the NFL. It did not disappoint. There were some crazy games all year. It was awesome. Obviously, my Indianapolis Colts are trash. They need to draft a quarterback. But looking at it, it's definitely Philadelphia. They started off fast. They lost to the Washington Commanders. They lost a couple too late without Jalen Hurts, which made sense. But I think if Jalen Hurts was healthy, they'd only have one loss, and that was to the Washington Commanders, which is a rival for them, division game. So I'm looking at Philly and saying, wow, they are stacked. And then we look at Kansas City. Yes, they've had some weak schedule, really. I mean, they played, the Houston Texans twice. They're trash. Tennessee Titans, let's be honest, they're trash as well. They're weaker schedule. But I'm telling you right now, this is going to be a great Super Bowl. I cannot wait. I'm leaning more towards the Chiefs, but the smart money's definitely on Philadelphia right now. I cannot wait for Super Bowl 57. Let's go. It's the Clown with Cam Show.